Benedict Cumberbatch says, men need to shut up and listen when it comes to toxic masculinity. So Benedict Cumberbatch, come on back. Woo!
Woo! Soldier Boy, Superman.
Superman up in there.
I remember like someone explained that to me. I was like, what?
What were they explaining to you?
What the Superman is? Someone told me.
It's a dance. What am I missing?
Well, someone said the Superman that hoe. I could be wrong. This could be just someone told me this when I was fucking in college, but it was when you come on her back and then you put the sheet on there and it sticks and it's like Superman.
That is not, I don't think, what Soldier Boy was saying.
I mean, it seems like a pretty logical thing for Soldier Boy to say. I mean, I bought it hook, line, and sinker when someone told me that 10 years ago. They go, did you know that the Superman is when you come on her back and then you put the sheet on and it sticks? If you're listening, please confirm or deny this.
You give her a cape?
You give her a cape. Make her Superman.
That's so funny.
I mean, what else could Superman that hoe mean? I mean, it makes sense. Like, I don't know. What would Superman that hoe mean?
I don't know. I hope it's that. Well, Benedict Cumberbatch, he's been out there every once in a while, always telling men what they need to change about themselves, right?
Yeah.
But he says, so he's doing this new press tour and he goes, men need to shut up and listen when it comes to toxic masculinity. He's looking right at you, right?
Yeah.
He's taking a stand against toxic masculinity. It's always really brave when someone in Hollywood stands up against something like toxic masculinity.
Oh, yeah.
Like just a Hollywood actor who has the courage to say what no one else will say in Hollywood, that toxic masculinity is bad.
Tell us how you feel about Trump. Benedict.
Exactly. Just the fucking balls. A single actor in all of Hollywood who has the balls
really
to take on the fucking giant in the room and slay the dragon that no one has the guts to stand up to.
Have fun on Rob Schneider Island, pal.
And he goes, in his new The Power of the Dog, the actor takes on the role of a domineering rancher, Phil Burbank, a man who inspires fear in those around him. In a new interview with Sky News, Benedict discussed how the film depicts gender and power and how it pertains to real life. You'd be lucky if you were an actor that actually believed all this shit, and it would suck so bad if you weren't. Like, imagine, you know how like Seth Rogen's just all in on being...
Yeah, well, I think if you believe that you don't, that is most of them.
They really believe it.
No, they don't believe it, and they're just like, yeah, I want to work.
I know.
Like,
but I feel like some of them do believe it. Some of them are all in. Like some of these guys, don't forget, a lot of actors, they don't have any opinions. So you can fill their brain with stuff so quick.
Yeah. I'm not even saying straight actors, though. Like, just people we know who work corporate jobs. And they're like, hey, my name's Tom, he, him. And like that just like...
But he probably wouldn't be out there doing interviews talking about how he's trying to take down the corporate environment, right? But Benedict Cumberbatch's out there talking to places, being like, you know, this is the problem with the world right now, right?
You know what the problem with the shut up and listen thing, too? Because I always take kind of like an issue with the idea where people are like, we're going to talk and you're going to listen. And then you're like, yeah, but sometimes you're wrong.
And they go, no, we're never wrong.
But like the idea that you go to shut up, listen, and you're like, so what? Just nothing you say is wrong?
Ever.
Yeah. And they're like, some of the things they go, just you shut up and listen, I'm going to talk. And then they go, okay, and they go, kill yourself.
Well, like, yeah. Even if it is wrong, it's their lived experience. And their experience, Benedict Cumberbatch thinks that you should die. He says, we need to fix the behavior of men. It's sort of a good way to, it's good to hear when they get out there, say their talking points, because it sort of does let you know how they think. They go, you're broken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you go, because it always goes back to that, like the normal way that people are. Yeah, it's broken.
There is
you're broken.
There is a bit of like, I think a liberal superiority complex too, where he goes like,
no.
But I'm saying where he's really like, you know, I sat and I
did the work, so I'm not broken anymore.
Clockwork Orange. They fucking taped my eyes open, and I watched all this propaganda.
I watched all this stuff.
I didn't say one word, and I'm better now, and you should too.
That's the thing. Other men are fixed. He sees himself as fixed.
Yeah. Oh, he's fixed.
No, he needs to do the work, but like in his mind, he's done 95% of the work. So he has like, you're always improving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
He's like a bodybuilder, like on the competition that just won, and it's like, you know, is your body perfect? He goes, you know, we're never perfect. There's always work to be done. Always a little more sculpting, a little more molding. But obviously, compared to these other people that don't even hit the workout bench, that's what he sees. It is
fucking scrawny boys.
Yeah, as far as doing the mental work to unlearn his toxic masculinity. He's gone to the gym 3 times a day. He's a fucking gym rat.
Yeah.
He sees himself as a gym rat.
It's funny if you unlearn it too much. It's like you almost have to fucking start listening to this podcast to get a bit of it back. You need to learn some toxic masculinity,
or just some masculinity in general. I think it's ever relevant in a world that's questioning and ripping into and finally pointing out the inadequacies of the status quo and the patriarchy. It's even more important. Also, it's funny that they think that like the status quo is toxic masculinity and not like the shit that he's saying.
Yeah, of course.
Like you live in Hollywood, like the status quo is people saying shit like this.
Yeah. Also, I can't wait to see what your fucking talking points are when you do your like little press junket in the United Arab Emirates. And be like,
good point.
You go, yeah, what are you going to be talking about then? You go, you know what? This movie was just a pleasure to work with. Because I love the director. You go, anything else? You go, I just
dudes rock.
You go, this is a great, lovely country you have here. Any political opinions? Nope.
No. They love having political opinions when they're completely in line with what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
When they happen to be the press statement of your employer.
Of course.
That's a good way to sort of put it. We go, oh, it's so crazy that that all of your political opinions just happen to be the corporate press statement of your employer.
Yeah, your allowed range of opinions.
They said, Benedict added that men often become defensive around the subject when they really just need to listen. So he wants you to shut the fuck up and listen.
I feel like he'd think this whole podcast would be like, see, you're being offensive.
You know the other thing I was sort of laughing at?
But like, that's the way you like literally fuck with a chick's head. You go, you know, just be defensive. And she's like, no, I don't do. And you go, look, see, you're being defensive. Like, it's like, it's like how you basically like manipulate a woman.
Yeah. You need to shut up and listen. And then you go, that's the thing you're not doing as much. You go, well, you go, see, perfect example.
Yeah,
you're not shutting up and listening.
You're being defensive. And you go, I'm not being defensive.
You're not.
Look, you said you're not being defensive. That's in and of itself defensive.
Your shut up and listening is out of 1. We need your shut up and listening out of 10. But because you know how there's that thing where it's like white people are uncomfortable talking about race or whatever. And it's like, you go fucking, I was like, yeah, because if you do it wrong, you get fired.
Yeah, it's like the repercussions.
You go to your workplace and talk about some shit that like is super fucking, you go to your boss and not talk, how about this? Talk about what you think of his wife's tits and be like, oh, look, you're so uncomfortable around fucking gender.
Yeah,
your tits make you uncomfortable. You won't even talk about your boss's wife's tits.
Yeah, you know what else white people are afraid of? Fucking walking across a tightrope that they've never done. They go, yeah, that's scary.
Well, that's the homophobic thing. You go, well, you're homophobic. You go, well, no, I'm actually not afraid of gay people. I'm afraid of the people that are speaking for gay people.
Yeah, who will punish me.
That's one thing I meant to mention about that Words article too. They were like, oh, it's the communities, like the blind and deaf community. It's like, well, no, the blind and deaf community doesn't care. The getting offended community cares.
Of course. Which, I mean, the Venn diagram, there's definitely some overlap, but small.
Of course.
I mean, the thing with the blind community is they have real problems.
They have real problems.
So they're like, they don't have time.
Well, so I was loving that it's with the gay people. It really is it's the lobby, right? But it's the equivalent of your boss is in the mob, says like the mobster's wife, and then the girl comes, they go, hey, do you want to have like, you just had 6 or 7 beers, like, do you want to just have a chat with my wife, talk to her for an hour? And you're kind of like, and they go, what are you, mob boss's wife phobic? You're like, no, I'm just maybe afraid of the repercussions of if I say something wrong. Like you get a few drinks in and you're kind of like, think he's killed someone, and you get a little too comfortable. Crack a joke. But that's the same as you go, oh, there's a trans person in the office. You want to talk to them? And you go, not really. You go, why? I might get a 10 drinks in. You go, has he still got a cock?
So they snip that shit, or they let you keep it? Or what happens with the cock once they take it off?
They go after they take it, they go, and it lands in a big mountain of dicks.
Rick doesn't work here anymore.
You go, hey, do you mind if you take the balls after? Do you think that any trans people, after they finish, they put the balls in a locket and they sort of just remind them of what used to be?
Maybe in a jar.
And then they should sell them. Trans doctors should do a business where they sell nuts in jars to girls, where just so they can look at, I got this nuts in a jar. You know what I'll do to you if you cross me?
I can't remember when this was. It was somewhat, I think we maybe talked about it on Fuckonomics, but remember there was that guy in Japan, and he was like an artist, and he had his dick and balls removed, and
Nice.
then he did like a meal, and he cooked his dick and balls in like various dishes. It was like an 8-course meal, and they and he like charged people like, I think it was like,
Is this as a ceremony to like?
no, he was like a weird artist, dude, and so he basically charged all
nothing
this
to do with being trans.
I mean, I guess he was trans after. No, I think he was more like a eunuch or like a asexual guy. And he was just like, he's like a weird like artist dude. And he straight up like did a meal of his fucking like dick. And
What did you do after? Did you do the meal or?
I went to the meal. Yeah. Dessert was kind
No,
of
what
gross.
did you do after you cut yours off?
Oh, I just fucking went on with my, I mean, there's no difference. Honestly, I look down and go, oh, that's.
It might be bigger now. The swelling.
Yeah, the swelling actually is kind of giving me a little bit of a fucking confidence boost.
The swelling on the wound.
No, but this dude, and he like, yeah, straight up fucking in Japan. Only in Japan.
So Benedict added that men often become defensive of the subject when you really need to listen. And they said, you get this sort of rebellion aspect, this denial, this sort of childish defensive position of not all men are bad when we just need to shut up and listen. So it's just the idea that fucking all women are right. Where you're exactly what you said, where you have to shut up and listen. They're always right. But it's like, you're defensive because they go, men are the fucking worst. And you go, I know your childish instinct is to say that like, oh, well, okay, I'm not, and my friends aren't, and blah, blah. And they go, yeah, that's a childish, what are you in grade fucking 1? Shut the fuck up and listen like I'm fucking adult.
Yeah. I mean, it's like with the racism stuff, like anti-racism, because we were talking on the other podcast, but like the anti-racism people are like, yeah, you just need to just be silent and listen. And you go, okay. And they go, white people are the devil and they should be killed. And you're like, can I just ask a thing? And they go, no.
Well,
just listen.
Yeah. And BuzzFeed's back at it, sort of agreeing with Benedict.
You know who else shut up and listened? The Jews before the fucking Holocaust.
They learned their lesson about shutting up and listening.
They really did. They go, okay.
When you do become the public enemy of a thing, shutting up and listen's never helped. Like, think about men when things started turning on them, where everyone goes, men are the worst. Did shutting up and listen work for any man?
Yeah. No, hell no. I mean, dude, the shut up and listen, it's literally like you put a fucking frog in like slowly boiling water. And the frog's
exactly
like, it's getting a little warm in here. You go, just shut up and
listen.
just enjoy the bath. And then before you know, you're fucking getting eaten.
Shutting up and listening hasn't helped anyone.
No.
Loving the shut up and listen to the boiling frogs. I was thinking about it when I went to the bathroom. It does work as an analogy.
No, I know. Well, I mean, like you hear fucking with like Holocaust people, and they go, yeah, like would make all
the
these...
one lesson they learned is don't shut up and listen.
Well, it's like they would make all these little minor rules against Jews in Germany, where they'd be like, okay, like Jews like can't do this, and they're like, oh, it's not so bad. It's like it's not a big deal. Like Jews can't do this, and then they were like, okay, now you have to wear armbands, and they're like, it's too late to say anything. Like when they go, okay, now you have to wear armbands, and they're like, oh shit, they're like, it's too late.
This is kind of back to my original theory earlier on last episode, is that I said it's always easier to get in the situations than it is to get out of the situations,
I mean,
right?
Tell that to fucking all 600,000 people.